ഇല്ല.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable information. Now we can move on the next section. Can I proceed, sir? Okay. Now I invite Dr. Abdul Salam to handle the next section. Excuse me,
അവര് ഇപ്പം പ്രത്യേകിച്ചൊന്നും പറയുന്നില്ല എങ്കിൽ ഓക്കെ എന്ന് പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ നാളെ പയ്യനോട് വന്ന് ഫീസ് സബ്മിറ്റ് ചെയ്യണം.
Okay. Now I invite Dr. Abdul Salam to handle this section, that is virtual learning and mental health of parents. Dr. Abdul Salam is the head of Clinical Psychology Department, Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, Kozhikode. He has various educational qualifications like BA Sociology, MA Psychology, and completed his MPhil in Mental Health and Social Psychology, and also PhD in Clinical Psychology from NIMHANS, Bangalore. He has more than 10 years of experience in this field and 12 publications in various journals. Sir, we are eagerly waiting for you to hear your class. Okay. Thank you, sir. You can proceed now, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Can you hear me now? Morning. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Can you make me co-host, not the host? Oh yes. Fine. This is enough. Yeah. Fine. I hope you all can see my screen. Yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah. All right. Okay. So yeah, virtual learning and mental health, and I am supposed to talk about mental health in parents, and as we are already seeing, mental health. In fact, virtual learning in itself is a completely new phenomenon for all of us. Starting from, like sir was talking about, starting from how to mute oneself and how to unmute and all of that. So starting from there, we are all in the process of learning this new mode of interaction and all of that. But what's interesting is that the mental health issues that you see associated with virtual learning, online classrooms, the idea of the COVID-19 pandemic, lockdown, and all of that, the issues that come up are not really just the product of online learning or virtual learning or the pandemic or the lockdown, what's happening is that um, these things which are happening right now, the lockdown, pandemic, virtual learning, all of that, they just bring out the already existing problems. And this is what is called in psychology as the return of the repressed. That is something which was always there, but which was kind of hidden, and which is now coming out in the open. Now, a simple example would be to look at our some of the suicides, child suicides that have happened in the context of the pandemic and online classrooms. Um, some of them committed suicide because they didn't have a TV in their house, and the state government, at least in Kerala, was broadcasting the classes through the official channel on TV, and some households didn't have TV, and those children, some of them were academically doing very well, and now when uh, it was all broadcasted through TV, they had no access to these classes, and some of them committed suicide out of despair. Now, what does it mean? The problem is not with virtual learning or classes being broadcasted through TV channels, but the issue is that many of us were not even aware of the fact that some of the households in Kerala didn't have TVs. We didn't know there were households which didn't have TVs, which came out only in the context of this problem. So that's the issue. There's some issues which we have long been ignoring, both in terms of social issues, economic issues, class issues, a whole lot of issues, which just came out. And so this thing was, this online thing and pandemic, all of that was, excuse me, uh, all of that was um, just a catalyst of which brought out issues which are already there. Um, Now, the other thing which we usually talk about in terms of, since I am talking about parents, I'm going to talk quite a lot about the family situation. So, the problems that you face right now in the context of lockdown and online classes is are issues which were already there, but which have now taken a different shape and form. That's the uh, that's the idea, right? um, Now this, what we need to also understand is that this generation is the virtual generation. That is, the whole life is through virtual media. I usually say that earlier we had tea shops and places, like clubs where people used to go sit and discuss politics and have conversations and all of that. But the current generation doesn't do that. Instead, they use WhatsApp and Facebook groups and all of that for discussing politics and various other things. So this is a generation which is completely virtual. So to delete the virtual world from the life of the current generation is going to be impossible, because there is no much life outside of it. So that's one thing which we need to keep in mind, because the virtual world is also a medium for social interaction and all of that. And many of the problems that we see in children are responses to um, crisis in the family, responses to crisis in the parents, and all of that. It's easy for all of us to just simply blame the child and say he's not studying, he's not concentrating, there's no focus, and all of that. But if we go deep into the child's problems, you might find out some issues with the family. So we have to really start looking at how is the family contributing to the problem. Now, the what has happened in this current situation is that there were many unwritten rules in families which are being challenged right now. For example, a simple example which we've been seeing in our clinical practice is that usually I'm talking about a large majority. I know there are minorities uh, which may not follow this pattern, but a large majority families have believed that fathers cannot be engaged in teaching children. They do not, father do not sit with, fathers do not sit with the children for teaching them, spending time with them to learn something and all of that. So that it's almost like an unwritten rule. The mother is the one who should discuss about academics and stuff. Father is the one who provides the money and all of that. Of course, all of those are changing, but there are still some families which follow this. Again, the if you look at it, look at the impact of rules, psychological impact of rules. Unwritten rules have much more of an impact than written rules. Like, for example, um, I hope you all can see me, and I suppose you can see that I'm wearing a T-shirt, and that is because I'm doing it from my home, and this is a virtual platform. But if let's say this was to happen in Trivandrum physically, we were all to come together to Trivandrum College of Nursing and have a conference like this, I wouldn't have worn the same kind of T-shirt. I would have worn something else which would appear a bit more formal. There is no written rule about it, but there are some unwritten rules that we follow. So those are much more powerful. So there are many unwritten rules in the family. Like, for example, when a conflict happens, who who should intervene? Like, for example, when should the father intervene when there is a conflict between the mother and the child? Should the father? In some families, the rule is that the father will intervene only at the last moment when they're about to hit each other. In some families, the father is the one who initiates the argument and conflicts with the child, and the mother intervenes later. And the mother can intervene in various ways. The mother can protect the child or support the father, or so there are many of these unwritten rules. Now the pandemic is challenging all of it because the father is available for more duration at home because of working from home, or the mother is finding it difficult to handle children and the father together. Handling your husband or wife is a very tough job, so you have to do that to an extra for an extra duration because they are all present. So there are many of these things which are getting challenged. The other issue is that in terms of virtual learning, now if you look at who are the parties involved in large scale education or college education, there are three parties involved, yes, largely in school education. That is the student, the teacher, and the parent. Now there needs to be some kind of a boundary between these three parties. There has to be psychologically speaking, there has to be a barrier between parents and teachers, a barrier between the teacher and the student, and a barrier between student and parents. So there need to be some kind of a boundary between all these three parties, which is apparently not possible in the virtual platform. The problem is that there is no barrier between the teacher and the parent. Sometimes when the kids are in the class, parents are witnessing the class, and then it puts teachers under immense pressure. And and there is this phenomenon of social laughing. That is, if you have an onlooker, if you have somebody to observe your work, then immediately your quality comes down. So when the teachers are aware of the fact that the student is sitting along with his parent, and the teacher knows that the parent is judging the teacher's teaching style and all of that, then the quality of teachers teaching immediately comes down. So that is one major problem. There is no barrier between the parent and the teacher. It's so open for the parent to see what the teacher is doing. And we might think it's a good thing, but in fact no, it can bring down teachers performance quite drastically. I was listening to a video clip from a doctor who said that if he does surgery, or let's say of a colleague, of a doctor colleague, his colleague who is a doctor, and if he's doing surgery on that doctor's child, even if the parent is a child, the parent is a doctor, he will not allow the father doctor to come to the operation theater to witness how the surgery is done, because that's the rule in the medical setting. Even if the father himself is an expert or whatever, he'll not be allowed to in the operation theater, because the presence of the parent can very well affect the performance of the surgeon. The surgery in itself can have a problem. So that is exactly what's happening here. Um, Now, the other thing is, it is also equally shocking for all parties that the parent can see how the child is performing. The parent can see how the teacher is performing, and we all had this illusion that things were fine, but now we actually see what is happening right in front of our eyes. And then um, kids also listen to the parents' opinion about teachers. So we need to be very careful there. That is, if we say, oh, what kind of language is your teacher using? The teacher doesn't seem to be so bright or whatever. And kids listen to this very well, and they would, then it of course affects the way they are learning from that particular teacher. So that is another issue. Sometimes we don't take it so seriously, so we just make casual remarks about teachers, and that might have an effect. There is also an immense power struggle between teachers and parents, which was already there, but there is still more, because this is almost like two adults trying to fight for the kids' attention. So there is always a power struggle between the teacher and the parent. Now, the other difficulty which parents face today is, people talk about how the problem today is that we don't have opportunities to go out like we used to have. We have to maintain social distancing. Some places are very often declared as hotspot or containment zone, so you can't go for shopping as you used to. So what we are talking usually about is the fact that we feel alone, we feel distant from our relatives, from our friends, from our larger network and all of that. But there is a reverse of this. A reverse of this problem is in families, in houses. That is, there is a feeling of being overcrowded. The father used to go to his office for job, but now he is not going. He's doing everything from home. He's working from home online, or he's doing his business through phone or whatever. And he goes out only once in a while to deliver his goods, and then he comes back. So there is a sense of being overcrowded. Nobody is going out, everybody is in there. And there is uh, usually there is one parent who is not very involved in the students teaching. Sometimes it's the mother, sometimes it's the father, but now there is no option for that parent to run away from this teaching thing. There's no option for the parent not to get involved. And some individuals who are parents need times which are alone time. It's almost like a breathing time for them, because otherwise it feels too suffocated. And this is exactly why we all go for a walk in the evening, because you have been sitting at home, you feel like you need to get some air, because it's suffocating to sit with these many people in one house under one roof. But that option sometimes is not available in the current context. So parents who there are parents who finds it difficult. I have always seen this in clinical practice, that they come saying that my kid has ADHD, he is unable to focus, he cannot sit. But you question the parents, you find at least one parent who is restless, who cannot sit with the child patiently, read him out the subject, help him revise, help him understand, help him ask questions, answer questions patiently. You find at least one parent who cannot do that. Now it is very difficult for that parent right now, because you are having to engage in teaching and all of that with your child, and becomes very difficult. And some parents would get very oppositional about this. They would say, I'm not going to do it, it is your job, you do it. They say it to the other parent. So that is another issue that we usually see. Now, we all know that intimacy is something which we seek, but it is also a difficult thing to tolerate. So, as I said, sometimes we need some alone time, which is not possible in current situation for a large majority. Now, the other issue which we always see is that uh, the in the there are no studies which have been done till now, I suppose, but there have been many reports about how marital conflicts have increased during the lockdown and pandemic period, because you get a lot more time to spend with each other, mother and father. And so then they start fighting, they have arguments, because earlier they didn't have time, or they deliberately didn't make time to be with each other, because they were afraid that it will get into some kind of an argument. But now there is no option. So they are together and they start fighting. There's a lot of conflict. Now, what is the easiest way to get out of this conflict? The easiest way is to focus your attention onto the child. So both the father and mother start focusing on how the child is learning, whether he's learning, not learning, what is he doing, all of that. And there's an immense attention on to the child, and the child then finds it extremely difficult to perform. And that is an easy distraction out of any kind of conflicts. It's very so we hear this quite a lot. We hear sometimes in extreme cases parents even say that we are together only for the sake of children. And so children become this kind of a glue which connects father and mother. And then that is an extremely difficult position for the child, both academically and emotionally. Now there are some stages that any family goes through, and if we understand those stages, it will be easy for us to identify what is happening with one's own family and what can be done about it. Um, Usually, as I said, problems arise in children when the family is at a particular juncture, at a particular stage of family life cycle. And then when the family is unable to move on to the next stage of life, is when children usually have a problem. I, uh, I can give you an example. Example would be um, like when the child is moving on from being a child to being an adolescent, and if the family uh, uh, um, is unable to digest that change, that he is growing up, he is going to develop his own opinions and perspectives, then they try to go back to their old way of functioning. But then the adolescent will protest. So the problem can be solved. The difficult, that is when some of these kids start having conduct disorders, oppositional behavior, they start having anxiety, depression, all of that. Some of them get into antisocial conduct disorder kind of behavior, such as stealing, lying, being dishonest, and all of that. Now, what we usually see is that if we help the family to move from the previous stage to the next stage, then the child's problem usually disappears. So we all know that in an individual life, we have various life cycle stages. Like we have infancy, then we have childhood, and then we have adolescence, then adulthood, middle age, then old age, and then also we have, similarly, a family has roughly four stages, and we usually say it is from couple to couple. That is, we start with a couple, young couple, they get married, and then the family begins. And the last stage is where all children have become adults, they all have left, and you are left back with the old couple. So couple to couple is the usual life cycle stage of any family. Now, if we look at each of these stages, we might be able to understand what's happening. Now, before we move into that, we were talking about scapegoating. We were talking about how, I was talking about how focusing the attention on kids, on the child's academic performance, can be a distraction from marital conflicts between father and mother. I can give you an example for that. That is, one child was brought into the clinic. He was in sixth standard, and they said for the last around 3 months or so, he's been performing academically very extremely poor. He was a very good student, functioning academically, bright and all of that, but right now he's not studying, he's not reading, he's not writing, not interested in doing his homework and all of that. And I started questioning him, and then the gradual deterioration started in the previous year, that is from the beginning of fifth standard. And then for the last 3 months he's been in sixth standard, and sixth standard has been a complete disaster. So I started wondering, why is this happening? And then I started talking to the father and then mother. Somehow I got this idea that there is something wrong. And then I said, I asked the child to sit outside, and then I talked to the father and mother. I asked them if there were any problems between the two of them. They said no, they were extremely happy. In fact, their marriage was a love marriage, an arranged love marriage. Both of their families were okay with it. So all of that. Now, then I started thinking I should probably talk to each of them separate. And then I did talk to the mother separately. And then the mother's I of course I started probing her and all of that. The mother broke down, she started crying, and she said, my husband has been having an affair for the last 1.5 years. And remember that that's roughly the time when the child's academic performance started deteriorating. And she said, I found that out 3 months back, and it's been a difficult time since then. And then I called the husband in, so he accepted that he has had this, and it's been a problem between the two of them. And the thing is, the child didn't know that this was happening. The child didn't know that the father had an extramarital affair. The child did not know that the father and mother were having conflicts, but his academic performance deteriorated. This, you see this quite a lot in families. We think that children do not know what is happening. They are kids, but no, they he might not know that the father was having an extramarital affair, but he would definitely notice a change in the emotional atmosphere in the family. So this is an example of mm, child's academic performance being a distraction to marital conflicts, and this happens quite a lot. Now, couple formation. Uh, Couple formation, of course, is the stage where we become couple, we meet each other, we like each other, whatever. You have arranged marriage, love marriage, whatever. Now, the major problem in this stage is to establish boundaries, how to handle your parents. That is a major problem. Whose parents should be prioritized, and whose parents should be listened to. And then the million dollar question is, are parents the priority, or is your partner the priority? For the husband, is his mother the priority, or you as a wife, or the vice versa? So those kind of prioritization boundaries need to be negotiated at this age. And if you are at that age, then you find it extremely difficult to negotiate all that. But the major thing that we need to learn at this age is to learn how to fight, how to have a conflict, and how to resolve the conflict. There is no conflict free relationship, but the idea is to have a conflict, fight about it, resolve it. So we learn how to do this. Who would initiate the conflict, who would resolve the conflict, who will take the first step to resolve the conflict, and all of that. Now, the next stage is families with young children. Young children is children with pre-primary class and all of that, or infant and all. Now, here the major problem is around the time and loyalty. Especially whom will the wife, the mother, whom will she spend more time with? Will she spend more time with the husband, or is she so extremely busy with the kids? And if you keenly look at family stories around you, you will understand that this is the time when husbands usually have extramarital affairs, because the wife is extremely busy with the kid. The kid is very too small. She has to breastfeed. She has no time for the husband, and the husband then goes and have an affair. Not that he consciously decides it, but that is how it happens. And this is also the time where there are cross-generational alliances. That is, the father will side with the daughter or the son against the mother, or the mother and the son becomes a team, and the father becomes out of the team. So something like that. So and so that is another issue. uh, Now you may wonder, how is it all related to virtual learning and all of that? That is what we come to in the next stage. That is, families with school going children or adolescents. Now, with school going children, like I said, the major problem would be that of cross generational alliance. That is to say, let's say a child sits in front of the computer, he listens to his class, and his class is for 45 minutes, and he sits there for 30 minutes, and he gets up and he wants to go drink some water, walk around, come back. The mother says, no, you cannot get up. Your class is for 45 minutes. You will be given a break after 10 minutes. So you cannot get up. Now, the mother might say that, but the father might come in and say, oh, he's been sitting in front of that from morning. Let him have a break. What is the issue? The teacher will not notice. At least let him go have a glass of water. So you see a cross generational problem there. The father is siding with the child, while the mother is against that. Mother is out of this team. The father and son is one team, the mother is not in that team. Now, this kind of a cross generational alliance is always a problem in family situations. What we need to understand is that what is not important as much as who is saying it is more important than what is being said. So if your wife says something to your daughter, no matter what she says, you have to support your wife. If your husband says something to the child, no matter what, you have to support your husband. And that is how you establish a couple bond. That is how you establish a parental bond, right? So yeah, so this is one one issue. The other issue, especially when children become adolescents, and now we have that problem, who are in 10th standard, 11th, 12th, they sit in front of the computer, try to learn. The problem is that they are not going to listen to you, because adolescence is usually an age of emotional turmoil, oppositional behavior, and all of that. And it is an age where we have to carefully balance giving freedom and giving responsibility. The usual problem with adolescents is that they ask for freedom, but are not ready to take up responsibility. Now that is a problem for adults also, but we have to kind of balance these two and give them freedom, and in that ask them to be responsible. Like for example, they are free to do what they want with their room, but it is their responsibility to see that things are all right. There is no, let's say, there are no ants, there are no worms, there are no termites and spiders and all of that. So that is, it becomes their responsibility, but you are also giving them freedom. The other issue, as parents, what we need to understand is that this is the age where they become a full-fledged individual, and that means they have a different mind from ours. Like for example, we might like a particular political party, they might like a different political party. We may have a particular view about a social situation, they might not have a view. We, for example, we might be someone who's very concerned with social image, but our son could be somebody who is not with concerned with social image at all. He believes in doing whatever feels right for oneself. So they are going to have different opinions. So they are going to separate from us and become individuals, and we need to be mentally ready to accept that. Uh, Also, especially in the context of virtual learning, another psychological issue which comes up is the extent of control given to grandparents. Sometimes this is a major issue. That is, the parents kind of handle the child well, but then the grandparent comes in and says, you know, it's all right. He's been sitting here in front of this from morning, and let him take a break, or let him not attend the class for the rest of the day. It's all right. I came to this, I've lived a whole life, and not because I studied well. It doesn't really matter. So they can have different opinion, and then it becomes difficult. Now for the child's emotional development, what is important is that the parent has the control. The mother and the father should have the control, and they should be able to handle the anger that comes from grandparents if they do so. Grandparents might be extremely angry and irritated if the parents take control, and but as parents we should be able to handle that anger, receive it, tolerate it, manage it, but not let that intervene with our kids, because your voice as a parent is extremely important. Children will not feel safe if they feel that their parents are not in control. Children have to always feel that my parents are in control. They know how to deal with situation. So that is why sometimes children like parents who are strict. They do like parents who are strict, not overly strict and disciplinarian, but parents who can stand the child's anger. Like for example, the parent says you cannot go out at this time, and the child throws anger at the father or the mother, and the mother is able to tolerate it. She doesn't change her stance, and children like that. Children like parents who can stand anger, who can stand anxiety, who can stand difficulties. That's what children like. So children will not feel angry if their parents are not in control. So
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. I hope you can hear me now. Hello. Okay, fine, fine. Sorry. This is another example. You know what can happen now? I don't know what happened to my computer. Suddenly, it decided to update itself, and now I'm doing it from my mobile phone. By the time it gets updated, so yeah, we were talking about uh, the idea of family life cycle with adolescents. So there is that problem that children feel secure and safe when they see that parents have control. Now the next stage will be the stage where there is uh, that is a families with young adults, that is these adolescents have become young adults, and they are now launching out in the society, and now they become their own, they find their own partners, they become couple, and all of that. Now there again we have to we have to see that there is a balance between letting them be adults and uh, letting you be the parent. Now that is not much of a concern for today's presentation, but as I said, these are some of the unwritten rules which might interfere in the way the child is handled, in the way the child's virtual learning is handled, and these are some of things which we need to be aware of. Now, the other thing we need to look at is what can we do. Now we talked about all of these things. Now what can we do? Now the first thing, of course, is for us to look at um, having some alone time for ourselves. That is, we, as I said, there is some sense of an overcrowding, and we need to have some alone time even from your own partner. Yeah, you need to find some time where you are alone, you are you have sometimes somebody was asking about the idea of reflective learning, and so we have to find out some time for us to reflect, and that is another issue. Oh, the screen is not being shared. Can you let me share the screen? Can you make me the co-host?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, co-host, please. Oh, yeah. Okay. Share screen. Yeah. Yeah. Can you see it now? Okay. Um, Now, we are talking about now, the other thing is to talk things out. There is a general belief that as parents, we should not engage in conflicts, and that whatever fight we have between ourselves should be out of the sight of the child. But that is an injustice to the child, because the child doesn't then learn how to have conflicts and how to resolve these conflicts. And that is a major disservice, injustice to the child. The child should see that the parents are able to have conflicts, and then they are able to resolve it. So that is another major thing. So if there are difficulties which we have with our partner, we should fight it out. It's not like we are going to end a relationship that day. We are not going to have a divorce, but we can fight it out, and let the children see how we can argue, we get into conflicts, how there are differences of opinion, and still we can continue to be husband and wife. Now, the other idea is that of exchanging roles. As I said, who is more important than what? Sometimes we have seen this plenty of times in our clinical practice that like for example, if the mother is the one who is teaching the child and there are many difficulties in like for example, if the mother is the one who is sitting with the child for online classes, the child doesn't sit. Sometimes just switching the person, you ask the father to sit with the child, then the problem is solved. He sits with the with his computer, he sits for the online classes. So sometimes just changing the person who is involved itself might solve the problem. The other thing is, as parents, for our own mental health, we should be ready to be both cruel and kind. That is some of us have hold extreme views on this. Some believe that you have to be strict and disciplinarian and all of that, but then such children go on to develop emotional difficulties, anxiety, depression, and all that later in adult life. um, some of us as parents believe that we have to be always kind, protective, understanding, be like a friend and all of that. But the problem there is that the children might not learn how to deal with realities of life, how to deal with limit settings, how to deal with rules, laws. All of that needs to be learned from home, from us. So we need to establish that too. So we need to be ready to be both, that you are cruel, you are kind, in the sense that you are strict and also protective and warm. The other is that education, there is a major problem. We are talking about virtual learning here, and there is a major problem here which we are not addressing. That is the style of our education system. We kind of mug up a whole lot of things in our current syllabus and style of teaching, which is quite useless for the child. The child doesn't even understand what is this for, how can it be used. So there is that major problem which we do not. So at least as parents, we should have this understanding that education is about forming a person. It is about how to talk to your friend. It is about how to sit for some time. How it is about how to focus your attention. It is about all of that. It is not really about just the formula, just getting a job and things like that. So that is another issue. And then the other thing is, we need to make the learning interesting for the child. And if it becomes interesting for the child, it becomes interesting for the parent also. Children respond to novelty, new things. So we need to find new things every day to deliver the same thing to the child. And allow different trajectories. So like for example, our elder son might kind of learn very fast. He might be good in mathematics, but not so in language. But our daughter might be good in language, but not mathematics. So those kind of we have to allow these different kind of trajectories. The problem there is, if we are anxious, then we might push our child to to function extremely hard. And so we need to be careful about our own anxiety and insecurity. And as parents, we need to also understand that learning needs time and effort. It takes time and effort. We need to be able to sit with the child, be patient, talk to the child. As I said, it is very easy for us to say, oh, he is not focusing, he is not attending. But but have we as parents sat down in front of a computer for 45 minutes? uh, Now, even in this webinar, I'm sure many of us are not even listening, and it is quite human to do so. It is extremely difficult for us to maintain our attention. Somebody was asking how long should adult learning classes be. uh, I think, be it child or an adult, our brain kind of stops functioning after 40 minutes, 45 minutes. You need a break. Otherwise, our mind stops functioning, our brain stops functioning. So it is extremely difficult for us to sit in a webinar like this, to concentrate, to focus. And now think of what our children are going through. So if we cannot sit, if they do not see us, sitting. If they see that we just ask them to sit and we move on, then they are not going to do anything. So the issue is that our children do not listen to what we say, they follow what we do. They do not hear us, they see us. So if they see that we are restless, we move around, we are unable to sit in one place, they are going to do the same thing. They see what we are doing, they do not hear what we say. So that's important for us to understand. Now um, we also have to kind of, as I said, gain some bit of control, provide some bit of structure for the child. In today's situation, the major difficulty is in providing structure because it's virtual learning. Like I gave you the example of my T-shirt. This is virtual thing, and we were overhearing some people who had not muted themselves. So all of that are happening because it's not structured, and that is, again, I'm not saying that it is a problem, but it is quite human, and that's because there is an anonymity, there is a distance involved, and there is some kind of a disorganization around the whole idea of virtual learning. So we need to bring in some kind of structure there and think in long term. It is not about what the child is learning today, tomorrow, and all of that. Think of him or her becoming an adult in life, and how will this be used. So we have to think in terms of that. And now we have to form a team. We have to always form a team with our partner. If they find out there is a difference of opinion, that is all right. But if that is if they can kind of manipulate you based on that, like the example I gave, the father says that let him have a break, but the mother says he cannot take a break till his classes are over. No, that is giving inconsistent message to the child. So that is where we should be a team. We should give a consistent message. The message should be same from both of us. So that is the idea of forming a team. But the next sentence is about not forming a team. That is, do not form a team with your kids. You do not form a team with your son against your wife. Do not form a team with your daughter against your husband or whatever. Or do not form a team with your mother against your wife. So all of those kind of teams will cross generational teams will create problems. uh, and finally, we'll, especially when we have children who are in, or adolescents who are in 10th, 11th, 12th, they are all in the process of becoming adults. They are going to have a separate mind of their own. So we need to be able to experience the anxiety of seeing them go, letting them go, take a different trajectory of life, which might be completely different from ours. Right, I think I've come to the end of the presentation. I hope it was useful. Sorry for the mishap. Just another example of what might happen in the virtual learning platform. Yeah, right. Um, do we have any questions?
If you have any questions, you can put it in chat box. The noted.
Sorry.
Noted there is no questions in chat box.
Oh, okay. So either I hope I was clear, not that no one didn't understand anything. Right.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir, for your wonderful
Okay.
presentation.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Let us move to the next session. We are moving to the last session. So here I invite Dr. Reena Josh to handle our last topic, that is virtual learning and mental health of teachers. Dr. Reena Josh is the head of the Department of Psychiatric Nursing in Kozhikode. She completed her PhD from Research and Development Center, Bharatiyar University, MSc Psychiatric Nursing from Father Muller's College of Nursing, Mangalore, BSc In applied psychology from Annamalai University, PG diploma in counseling from Calicut University, certificate course in family healthcare from Guhas Prasur, and diploma in community mental health nursing from Nimhans, Bangalore. She has more than 19 years of experience and publication in international journals. With immense pleasure, I invite Dr. Reena Jose to handle this section. Please, Madam.
Hello. Hope I'm audible. Am I audible? Hello. Hello. Okay. Can you please respond? One of you unmute and respond that you are audible. I'm audible, so I can continue. Hello. ആണോ ചെയ്തു അൺമ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ലായിരുന്നു ചെയ്തു ഞാൻ സ്ക്രീൻ ഷെയർ ചെയ്യട്ടെ ഓക്കെ At the very outset, let me thank Professor Grace, Principal, Cooperative College of Nursing Trivandrum, and other organizing team, management for inviting me as a resource person. Till now, you were hearing two wonderful sessions. I could only join on the midway of Dr. Salam's talk, and it was I enjoyed that half which I heard. Okay, thank you, and hope you can see my slides. Can you see my slide? Alfonso, can you unmute and respond? Shall I continue the class? I hope you can see my slides. If not, please tell me. Since I'm not getting any response, shall I continue? Hello? Hello? ആ സ്ലൈഡ് കാണുന്നുണ്ടോ? ഓ എനിക്ക് പറ്റുന്നില്ലായിരുന്നു. ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ. സ്ലൈഡ് നിന്ന് പോവുകയാണെങ്കിൽ എന്നെ വിളിക്കുമല്ലേ? ഓക്കെ 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 താങ്ക് യു. എപ്പോഴെങ്കിലും സ്റ്റോപ്പ് ആയി പോവുകയാണോ എന്ന് പറയണേ. Good morning to all for the patient listening till now. Okay, in this short session, I'm dealing with the virtual learning and mental health of teachers. When we hear all the webinars which are conducted throughout this months and weeks, we have not heard anybody is discussing about the mental health of teachers. So it was one of the unattended area. Like recently, I was reading a mental health and well-being perspective of Central Board of Secondary Education, CBSE, they have published a book, and in that, mental health well-being are written in view of COVID scenario. And in that one page, one chapter is about the mental health of teachers, how the teachers have to maintain their mental health. And coming to the COVID outbreak and teachers' role, why we have to discuss teachers' mental health in this scenario is the teachers are adjusting to new normal, like they have less paycheck, small paycheck, poor incentive, perceived stagnation, increased demands, and their work role is increased, but they are also in a crisis. So we can identify that from this. The COVID outbreak has increased the teacher's role. The teacher has to do multitasking. Like the teacher has to be a mentor, counselor, coach. The counselor, coach, nurse, and motivator, even planner list is endless. Sometimes the student call the teacher and ask regarding some guidance, and she has to counsel the student, and she has to be the coach online. That area is unfamiliar to her because our system was not that much adapted to online learning till today. But COVID-19 pandemic scenario has opened this opportunity for all the teachers to be a part of online teaching. Sometimes the teacher has to be a nurse, that student is not well, or student is not attending the class, student is leaving the classroom. Sometimes student is showing some psychological distress. So sometimes the teacher has to be a nurse and motivate students with interesting topic, or making the dry topic very interesting, and sometimes event planner. So the list is endless. See the picture, the teacher has to take care of her own children, her own task, her own other responsibilities, plus online teaching. So naturally, she will be in stress. So here it's given by Ipsita Mishra in 2020. She has told that teachers are accustomed to caring about the social emotional well-being of students and are trained to keep a check on signs of anxiety, depression, bullying, or aggression. Yet they are still learning how to talk about a huge hidden threat to their work, their own mental health. So teachers are always interacting with the kids, and they are finding what the problem students are going through, like anxiety, depression, bullying, aggression. At the same time, when they want to take care of mental health of children, the teachers also should have proper mental health. So here, the virtual learning and education has placed uncertainty in education and how to move forward. That was the question in the beginning. When we started the COVID outbreak, when we started the education system has thinking how we can move. So in the beginning, education was an uncertainty how to move forward, because this online training was unfamiliar in our state or our country. So the one and only answer was online education. So maximum use of available resources was the ultimate objective of any education institution. So here, in the beginning, how the students' perception, the students were thinking when online was the choice. Some are techno-savvy, some students are techno-savvy. When teachers and students were thinking, only some people are able to use this technology in the very useful way, some are not. How can I improve my technical knowledge? Is it applicable for children in any age? Because teachers starting from play school till higher secondary, the teachers may be thinking, can I do class for my students based on their age? So do all the children have internet gadgets facility? Do the teachers have gadgets and internet facility? Sometimes students have internet gadgets and facility, here teachers lack it, or teachers are not able to use it. So teachers are using normal Sada phone, and they are not using hi-fi or Android phones. All this made confusion in the beginning. In the middle, I am inviting all these participants. That's why some. Okay. sometimes hindrance happens when I am making them enter in the Zoom. So in the beginning, teachers and students had all this type of doubts because of how they can use. And in the beginning, what society has done, organizations, associations, and people who were concerned to the education of children supplied amenities. In the beginning, we heard that they lack materials, they lack gadgets, they lack internet facilities. So many institutions, many organizations, and people, society supplied amenities and necessary gadgets for online education. Even some channels like Victor's channel broadcasted the teachers' classes. So current status is teachers and students are familiar to the online education. We know that most of the courses, most of the professional courses and these schools have started online education, and uncertainty and anxiety regarding online education is fading away. Teachers are expert in online teaching. Most of the teachers have learned how they have to use this online platform where students get bored of videos. Now students part, they get bored of videos, messages, mobile, TV. Once students felt that they won't get mobile, once they have got it, they are bored of it, because so the teacher's role has been become very, what to say, that teachers role has to be vibrant. Like teachers should find the solution to make students interested in online education. It's ultimate responsibility of the teacher to make the student interested in her class. That's the current status. And here, why it's affecting teachers' mental health. Three types of issues are there. First one is learner issues. The issues related to the learner is affecting the mental health of teacher, like learner's expectation. Learner is expecting the teacher to take an interesting class or make the content very interesting and not boring. So give individual attention. All these are learner's expectation. And learner's age. Are they able to focus on the screen, or some particular like pre-primary children are easily diverted, or age is okay for the online education. So readiness, the readiness of the children too, because you know that their house, they are at the home, many things are distracting them, many things are attracting them, so it's difficult to come and sit in front of the screen. So readiness, participation by asking questions or answering, and family dynamics, relationship between all the members, how it is going on, what is the positive or negative attitude of family towards online education, and financial problems, of course, imposed programs. Most of the times the student cannot choose the class, the teacher is giving the timetable and taking the class. Lack of practical education. Usually we take theory and we teach the students how to do it practically. For example, if a teacher is teaching about asthma, the theory part, the next day the children can see a patient with the asthma. So same way, here the practical education is lacking now, and mental health of the learner also, learners' mental health, learners' lack of interest, learners' boredom, all this influence in the teachers' mental health also. Physical and learning disabilities, physical health and malnutrition. So physical and learning disabilities, if the child will be disturbed to participate in the class, even the teacher has to focus more on the child. So sometimes behavioral issues also. So physical and malnutrition of the learner also. Malnutrition mainly here focus on the lack of iron, vitamin D, all these type of things will cause lack of concentration in the individual, vitamin mineral deficiency, all this. So that also can be a learner issue. Another thing which is influencing the mental health of teacher is instructor issue. Regarding herself, making the transition from face to face to online. All the teachers are well versed in chalkboard classroom teaching, but when online transition from that real classroom to online, the screen, talking to the screen, expecting somebody are there behind screen is tough for many. So it's a transition like a pupa is transforming to the butterfly. It's very tough and painful for some of them. Managing time, when finding appropriate teaching styles, then lack of teamwork, empathy and support between students. Students are, if students are doing support between each other, half of the work of the teachers will be over. The teachers working too many roles at the same time. I have already told the teacher's role like counselor, mentor, then coach, event planner, all these roles, multitasking the teacher is doing the same time. No time to deal with the bodily functions. We know that the teacher's role is what workload is increased, the teacher has to maintain documents for all. The teacher has to send the report to the authority. All this she has to do, all documentation, everything has increased the teacher's duty, where she has not getting time to do bodily functions. Teachers being made accountable for more than they should, not enough time to plan. All these are the complaints from teachers. Then other factors including content issues, like content we have to supply, like knowledge refers, content means knowledge refers to the body of knowledge and information, and teachers teach. The information in the teacher's hand, what she has to teach. So that has to be very palatable for the student. Teacher has to make it very palatable for the student to digest. So that is another issue. The role of instructors in the content development. How much the instructor can involve in the content development. Already it is given as per the syllabus. Each heading is given. These areas has to be touched. So the role of instructor in the content development. Integration of multimedia, where the teacher is able to include the multimedia to deliver the content. The role of instructional strategies in content development. What type of instructional strategies the teacher is using, teacher is able to use. For example, if teacher has to take a theory, but is video, how to play the video, what app I can use to record the video, all this the teacher is finding difficulty with the content. Then challenges faced by teachers in virtual learning are dealing with the children in transitional period. We know that they deal with the children in transitional period, sometimes children in maturational crisis. They are moving from childhood to adolescence. So teacher has to manage them also, their bodily changes, their hormonal changes, behavioral changes they may exhibit during the class time. So when real contact was there, teacher could identify this and interact and manage it or direct them to the professional. But here, the teacher is not able to understand what student is in. So dealing with the children in transition period is a tough time for a challenge for teacher. The student with the disability is another issue, like scholastic backwardness, and the children who have physical disability and children who are slow learners are another challenge for teachers. Student with emotional and behavior issues, handling subjects, too many subjects are handled by same teacher, then making participant interested in the topic in hand, hard work to avoid boredom in participants. So if a teacher has to take a 1 hour class, if the teacher is not well versed in the subject, teacher has to spend more than 10 hours for 1 hour topic. So it is a teacher has to do hard work to avoid boredom in participants. Participants will be getting bored after some particular attention period, but it is teachers' duty to bring them back after some time, make them interested. So some parents are overhearing this class. You know, the primary school teachers had a complaint in the beginning that parents are sitting along with the child. So child is not attending to the teacher, but instead child is afraid and looking at the parent and thinking that parent will supply the answer when teacher is asking question. So this attending class with the children is considered as not professional, and in the beginning it had happened, and now the children are safely and securely sitting alone in the class. So passive students, some students are passive, they don't ask questions, they don't answer teacher's question, they don't submit the assignments, all this. So passive students are another challenge for teacher. Then instructional strategy, which strategy, like lecture method or what type of AVH teacher can use in online platform is another question. Then staying connected with the students. We know that especially in nursing colleges, we don't connection with the students through phone or WhatsApp. We don't encourage social media relationship between teacher and student. But now we are encouraging it because we don't understand where our students are, what difficulty they are moving through. They are getting the freedom to send a message to the teacher saying that I am in need of help. And now encouraging collaboration. All these are encouraging collaboration. Teacher-student relationship has to be maintained, and both have to decide how they have to move forward in this online curriculum. So here is a study done by North Carolina Virtual Public School, NCVPs, in the USA 2009. We know that in India, online learning was not much popular before COVID-19 pandemic. But now we know that we all are adapted to it. So here these studies done in 2009, because virtual learning was common there in North Carolina and USA. So here students expected their teachers to actually teach rather than moderate a course shell. So teacher should not be a moderator. Teacher has to teach. That was students' expectation. So they don't want assignments. They don't want presentations. They can't do the written or verbal assignments what teacher is doing. But instead they want teacher to teach and supplement course shell with content and projects that illustrate relevance. They want the teacher to do relevant projects and provide both content and peer interaction, respond to questions and provide feedback quickly. So this is the result of the study findings of the study done in US. So here, secondary to students' expectation continues in the expectation for teachers in virtual school environment, like course shell can be strengthened, but teachers who do not expect or know how to supplement online course. We know that in the beginning, we all had uncertainty how we are going to take class. Can we project a PowerPoint or can we use a board? Or how can we show video? How we will make this content tasty for the student? So teachers who do not expect or know how to supplement online course will have difficulty. So course shell or the content cannot be strengthened if we do not know this. Then communication related interaction where increased opportunities for student and student teacher interaction, individual attention. If we do this, we can strengthen the course content. That was the result of the study. So literally speaking, transform the teacher from a pupa to butterfly or from the board to the online virtual platform is a painful experience, but it is possible. So most of the teachers have picked up, even from the primary school, even teachers are taking class in different mode. Most of them have adapted to Zoom, where teacher can see the student. I know a third standard student who is attending Zoom class, Google Meet class. Teacher can see the student ask questions. Student is excited to see all his classmates on the screen, but sad when the internet connection he lost. He tells glitching. I lost all classmates. I lost teachers. This is the stress of the students. So here we know that mobile net may not work. We should have broadband. That is another issue. But teacher has to transform from that's painful for teachers. So key component of virtual learning design is context, where we are doing the class, place, integrating, how we are extending the course or threading into the courses, online class integrated into the course. Assessment evaluation, similar to classroom or computer based. Can we write examination? That was another question. Can we write exam? Can we give examination to the students? Can we give assignment to the student? Can we do assessment? This was the beginning. We had this confusion. The experience, course activities and interactions designed for motivation and involvement. All these are the key components of virtual learning. So we know that some teachers are easily adapted to the non-verbal, so virtual teaching environment, some are not. So a study has done by Bart Reintjes in 2014 in UK. They have selected 36 participants split into control and experimental group. So control group has got online help and experimental has got instructor video. So these are the findings of the study. Perceived usefulness of the virtual learning environment was not related to perceived task performance. Even though the teacher understand that it is useful, the teacher was not ready to use it or use that task well. So it's not because of the lack of knowledge. They perceived that it is useful, but they are not ready to do it. Another finding was perceived ease of use. Its easiness was related to intentions and actual behavior in virtual. So when they have perceived that it is easy, they used it. And teaching in pandemic is a difficult area. How educators are handling sudden shift to distance learning. So transitioning to online in such a short period of time is really tricky. So one day we were in school and the next day the whole world was kind of flipped upside down. This is given by Meredith Salmon, a biology teacher at the Petty School in New Jersey. So she has told that one fine day when COVID outbreak was there, the next day, yesterday we went to school and next day school is just flipped out upside down. So it is a stress for the teacher also. So here the educators are handling the sudden shift to distance learning is teachers are juggling a full course load teaching while caring for their own children at home. Teachers were well versed in using chalkboard and class or OHP or their PPT, but here they are not used to online, so they have to prepare a lot. They have to make useful videos, interesting videos to the students. Even I have seen a PT teacher, physical education teacher has made videos of exercise and sent it students watch and do the video and send it to me. So students are doing the video. So everyone's course load is increased. Students who come from all walks of life, we know that we are dealing with a different type of students. Everyone's facilities are not same. So we know that it's a digital divert like. So some people are what to say supplied with all gadgets and internet. Some are not. So don't have all the same technology or support at home. All everyone may not have support at home to attend online class. So just understand that that's another issue of teachers. So a lot of kids are in different situation with a different home lives. So this is the study I told regarding that educators. Then how the teachers and students shifted to online education. So here a study shows that if we want to do the online teaching, we have to redo all the curriculum. We understand most of the nursing subjects are practical oriented. Not only nursing subjects, most of the professional curriculum is patient oriented and clinical oriented. So if we want to do online, we have to redo all the curriculum in such a way that we can use OSCE, we can use mannequins, simulation. Then in any scenario comes like this, any pandemic comes like this in future, we should be able to move from the current classroom scenario to next. We should have additional supply of the curriculum telling us in case of any problem, in case of any problem, issue, pandemic, anything happens, just move to the online platform with this curriculum. In different way, it's like we are now KUHS has adapted OSCE, objective structured clinical examination for students. So it's a very good attempt because students may not lose their year, lose their academic activities. So most of the teachers are well versed in that, and they have learned, and those who were unaware of this were learned and carrying it out well. That's another good point of COVID outbreak. So students are more hesitant to ask for help. Here in online, they are most hesitant to ask for help because they feel ashamed, shyer. They are not seeing their friends for a long time and teacher for a long time. When seeing online, they can't say, wait a minute, I don't understand what you just said. Sometimes they will tell when they are in the classroom, they will ask teacher to repeat it, or ma'am, I didn't get. But in the class, they are not able to ask, sir, I didn't get it. Can you repeat? They feel shy. That is another issue. So online education has so this is given by Tina Morris. The study I have explained was done by Tina Morris. A science teacher has told you sought to have to redo all the curriculum so you can teach it online, because a lot of it was dependent on you being there and leading the students through certain things. Our curriculum is mainly based on depending on the teacher, how the student can depend on the teacher and learn. That type of curriculum we have. It's not that pragmatic or what practical oriented where student alone can learn. It's not that project oriented much. But when we redo curriculum, we can see that student can work independently more than depending on the teacher much. Teacher can be a mentor, a guide, a helper. So same way, so this is her opinion, a science teacher and sustainability director at the Pike School in Massachusetts. She told that we have to redo the curriculum if we want to do online education. We know that we all feel difficulty to do the current curriculum, but we have adjusted it by the help of our university and our educational system of state. And this is a study done in Germany. Recently, 2020, they have closed all the schools in March and partially reopened in May. And they have found that after adapting to online teaching during COVID-19 school closure, teacher education, teacher competence effect more early career in teacher Germany. So our teaching, our B.Ed course or our teaching training, our education, nursing education, any professional education was not meaning for the teachers to do online education. We were thinking about the teachers has to be present in the class and students also will be real classroom setting. That way it was prepared. So something it lacks. So here the Germany studied, they have identified that the teachers are getting information about everything but not about online teaching. So here they found information and communication technologies also, though it is there in the syllabus, it's not given much important. Just imagine we are having a subject like use of computers in nursing. We take it as a class, but we are not showing a class online and telling students this is the use of computer. Like we have not used Zoom in the chapter when dealing, we have not used Google Meet or any online platform. Showing students when they are sitting at home, teacher can sit at home and take class. We have not done it. In my knowledge, it's not done. If not during COVID-19, in the in the years we have passed through. So information communication technologies, at least when next year we teach education, we have to take class online and show students these are the use of ICT in our education. So practically we have to show they, for any crisis happens, they will be able to use it. So digital teacher competence is different from classroom teacher. The teacher should be able to make a student attentive through different type of examples, different types of what videos, activities, then only the children will listen. So teacher education opportunities to learn digital competence has to be managed. This is the study done by Koenig in European Journal of Teacher Education. Is published in that. So these are the instrumental in adapting to online teaching. If we want to be well versed in online teaching, these things in the syllabus has to be strengthened and curriculum has to be in that way the digital teacher competence are developed. And so we know that if it was not, the teacher was not ready to use virtual platform, it will be a stress for the teachers. So here, the virtual learning and mental health of teacher, it differs based on various factors. Some people will be picked up easily and they start using. Some people still they are in confusion and dilemma. They are telling we cannot, the gadgets cannot replace teachers. When smart classroom initiative government of Kerala has taken, many people protested it, saying that they thought that teacher is replaced by computer, and many teachers protested it, but many teachers supported it who knows about disadvantages and the real life experience a student can get through this seeing what they cannot see really. Like the world or earth is brought to the class, picture of earth, what to say, all different kinds of animals, all this they can see through virtual classes there, they cannot see in real world. So the teachers are influenced by mental health, are influenced by subject they teach. If the subject is very interesting, there are a lot of experiments, videos, teacher also is happy. Teacher may be going smoothly through the class. Acceptance use online platform. Those who have accepted are adapted to the online platform. Others are in stress. Competency is using technology. We know that wherever we lack knowledge, we protest it. There is a tendency. If we have competency, we will be more adapting. So technology has to be updated by all the teachers. Competency in transforming to dry topic to the interesting mode. Competency in creating real life experience are another things which influence teachers' mental health. If teacher is well versed in this, teacher can go smoothly through all these experiences. Then what we can do? We know that it's a crisis situation. Online classes are going on. It's tough for us. A teacher has to work a lot during her offline hours. So accept the reality, the need for virtual teaching and learning. Initially, many people protested OSCE saying that no, patient has to be there. Yes, it's a reality. Patient has to be there. It's better than OSCE, but what to do? There is no other choice. Somehow we have to complete the course. We cannot consider this year as a 0 year because of this COVID. We have to move with the virus. So there is no other choice. So accept the reality and understand that it's a temporary thing. Then be a learner before you face students. Before facing students, learn, prepare well and go. Even if you are going in a real classroom, you can talk to the students and sit in the class if you are not prepared. But online platform, you have to be well versed in the topic when you are facing students. So you have to do a bit hard work. Then select a comfortable online platform. Some are comfortable with the Google Meet, some are with the Zoom, or some are with the WhatsApp video, or some are with the text message, anything which is suitable for you, just select, but it should be suitable for your students also. Then training in how to use platform effectively. Most of the institutions have conducted a lot of classes how to use platform effectively. We know that our KUHS has conducted regular classes for Board of Study members, teachers, academic council members regarding how to use Moodle online platform, and adapting to the online classroom is another thing we can do. We have to accept it and adapt it and learn. If one person knows that, don't have fear to go and ask that person. Just ask, just help me how to do this. Don't have what to say that. Sometimes we may be having, we are ashamed to, shaming to ask regarding what we lack. And hands-on and hands-off approaches for instructors to implement from the beginning. So sometimes we have to give hands-on skill for the students to work hands-off also. They have to discuss and come with their assignments, or sometimes they have to work, break up into rooms, and we can give them discussion with their classmates, all this. So I told you practice well before. Plan and practice are the two P's we can do. Practice well before facing the online participants, and interactive teaching approach with the use of collaboration tools. Many tools are available now. If you search in the internet, you will get a lot of tools to play video, how to download net content, saving from the net, all this. Feedback to the students. We give feedback to the students. I have seen primary school students are submitting homework or examination to their teachers. Teachers are sending with their smileys, lion's head, good tick mark. So give them feedback so they are interested to sit in the class. The find time to interact with students before and after the class. Don't expect students to be 100% perfect always with assignment. That's why they are called as students, not professors. Understand that they make mistake. So help them. We are there for them. That's why we are there. We are called as teachers. Whenever students make mistakes, don't jump on them and shout at them. You did that, you are wrong. No, nobody is perfect in this world. Just understand that students are students. They are trying to be studious. They are trying to be studious, so help them. So find time to interact with students before and after the class. So interact with your students, ask their doubts, ask their concerns, ask their opinion about the class content. How was it? Have you enjoyed my class? Or so expect realistic information. Some students are afraid of the teacher, and for the boring class also they will tell, "Oh man, your class was excellent." Don't be so happy if you know how your class was. So you just take realistic experience, and if realistic comments are given, don't get angry to the student, or don't give black mark to the student. So you should be very open. Make a feel that they all are considered equally. Many things will attract you when you are on the screen. Some children will be active and asking, lifting their hands, asking in the chat box doubts. You will be attracted to them. But some people are silent. So equally consider them, and those who are silent have to be stimulated to talk. So be calm when distracted and try to get attention of all. Be friendly and informative to students. Give students the freedom of clarifying their doubts. When children are not asking doubts, sometimes I asked a group of students, why are you not asking doubts? They told me, we thought we will get find out. When they are asking some doubt, teacher is giving 100 find out and come, find out and come. It's not good. If students are asking, it's good that you are giving find out, not when they are asking doubts. When they are asking doubt, if you don't, it's not necessary that teacher should have 100% knowledge. Nobody is in the world are 100% fit to be a teacher. But you can try and tell the student, I don't know, I will tell you tomorrow after referring. Don't feel ashamed to have that. I tell that. Be realistic. And another thing, understand students are not in a controlled environment. When they are at home, you understand that students are not in a controlled environment like a classroom. Most of them have a lot of distractions at home. So consider that when taking class, and tell them to sit in a corner where distractions are less. And be yourself and prepare to listen. Be a good listener. Why am I telling this in mental health of teacher? If teacher and students are calm and quiet and peaceful, mental health can be maintained. Any student create issues, the student's mental health, teacher's mental health will be affected. What's teacher also will be understood. So make the students calm. You also be calm. So understand what is happening to the student. Be non-judgmental, patient, calm, and accepting. Students may create a lot of issues, but be calm. Think how I can solve this issue. Don't be emotional. Use your intelligence to solve these issues. If the student has to be met alone through a media, online media, meet alone and tell the student all these issues. Tell the student in a good way how he or she can be corrected. Any student who is getting individual attention will naturally try to come back to the normal situation. The student may be reluctant to talk about their problems because they don't want to upset anyone. Sometimes they are in the struggle and a lot of problem they are experiencing. They don't want to make the teacher or friends upset. So they will be silently suffering their issues. So that also from the facial expression or their behavior you can understand. So some points for the teachers who are doing virtual classroom teaching. Here, this is a new experience for many. So be updated with guards, computer, webcam, programs, browser. Ensure fast internet speed. So rehearse. So sometimes it's glitching when the internet speed is not good. The student may not listen properly and it will not be palatable for them. Do rehearsal and practice. So face the camera, do mock classes. Before meeting the children, just try to take a mock class. Check audio video quality, take feedback, gain individual attention, try to address children by their names, ask questions in between. At times, have small interesting talk, encourage general personal things. Did you have breakfast? Or not necessarily always you have to take class. You can ask their personal things also because you are their teacher next to the parents. After their parents, you are intimate to them. So ask them, have you had your breakfast? Come down to their level for some time. You cannot be strict like your real classroom. In online, you should be pleasant. You are meeting your child who are sitting away, not in controlled condition and maybe in a lot of problems. So give concern of that. Have interactive discussion at the end of the class. So virtual zombies are there. These are some terms used by virtual platform. Virtual zombies means zombie you might have heard a fearful game. So zombies here a teacher is coming with a lot of text slides is called as virtual zombies is not good. So sometimes you make it interesting than a lot of text you can make it a fun. Then technical difficulties are another issue. So practice and plan is the solution for that. If you are lacking technical expertise, you just try to develop it. So people have trouble in connecting is another online issue. So check for correct URL, check for correct time zone, re-enter the password, check browser compatibility, close all applications, clear cache, delete temp files and cookies. So participants want to talk to people is another. Some participants enter in the classroom and talk to others in the phone. So encourage personal interaction is the solution. So recently I had attended a class, Zoom class, which is conducted by NIMHANS. They ask us to be switch on our videos. Everyone has to be on visible, then only they will give a certificate. That was their thing to ensure that everyone is participating. Some people will switch on this Zoom and go for their own work. At the end, they will just peep and see whether it is over. So here, to avoid that, encourage personal interaction. Then some are naturally as in the classroom. Some will be distracted learners. At home, you know, people are surrounded by a host of distracting things. Dogs, cats. People take personal calls. Go to the kitchen, refill their coffee, check mails. While session in the progress, they will do all these distractions. To understand that for this solution is turn theory-based content into fun, engaging an interactive session, breaking rooms like a group discussions and all you can give. There are possibilities in the Zoom. Learn how to do it. Open-ended questions you can ask. You can call the person's name and ask questions if you want to ensure that people are there. Then some self-care tips for teachers. This is given by Mental Health Wellbeing. A module is prepared by Central Board of Secondary Education in view of COVID-19 pandemic scenario. They have given a booklet called in the PDF form also. If you search in the net, you can search in the net that mental health and well-being, a perspective, Central Board of Education, Central Board of Secondary Education. So you can refer it and adapt if it is useful to you. And in that it is written self-help care tip for teachers or teaching is a work of heart. Consider that it's my willingly I am taking class. It's work of my heart. I have to 100% interested in this. Remember to start fresh every day. Teacher is doing a lot of work and coming to the class very tired. It's not good in the online class. Start afresh every day. You dress up well and come to the dress up. I don't say that you have to put makeup. You have to look fresh. Ready a good book to relax. Read a good book to relax your mind. Read some good books. Connect with the uplifting colleagues. Some colleagues will be giving critical or destructing comments. Don't have company with them. Somebody who is supporting you, you have connection with them. Spend some time with the nature. Do gardening or experience a breeze of outside. Do positive talk. Do positive. So always don't engage in the negative talk like oh when this COVID will end, everything is upside down. Overall, so why? You have to see the positives COVID has brought. Like I'm sitting here and taking class. Otherwise, I have to travel to Trivandrum. So I can meet so many people because of this COVID scenario, because we have adapted to. So a lot of positive things are there. So identify that this is a new norm. Virtual learning delivery is quickly becoming new norm. Even though the COVID scenario is stopped, any medications or vaccination or eradicated COVID, this we can use as a supplementary platform for our students to learn and teachers to teach. So this will be there. Virtual learning delivery is quickly becoming a new norm. Creating a new communication plan to help build expectations, and technology literacy is one of the important things. We have to teach our students and teachers how to use technology in effective manner. So with this I conclude. So teachers, I have told some tips. Teachers mental health also very important because they are dealing with the students coming from different situations, home situations, and different experience of stress and difficulties. So if teacher is peaceful and positive, only uh, teacher can attend all the students and be a to support to the students. If teacher herself is experiencing a lot of difficulty and distress, not able to manage this, how teacher will be helping student? These are my references, and I thank the organizers. Hope I was audible and your slides was visible. Shall I stop sharing?
Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful presentation. If you have any queries, dear participants, if you have any queries, please put it in the chat box.
In the beginning, I had told a lot of stress experienced by our teachers regarding lack of pay from the colleges and work overload, uncertainty, all this. That already I have told. Some people have entered from the middle and they might have not heard. That's why I have told. I had a session in the morning for Malabar Cancer Center. I just completed it and joined this soon. If no doubt, shall I leave? I'm on duty too. I thank Professor Grace, who was my alumni of Father Muller College of Nursing. Madam was my senior, and till now I remember and recall Madam's study. Madam has done study among tribal girls. And Madam has told me once, I was a junior and we used to communicate well. Ma'am told me once she was paddling and going, using what boat to travel from one place to what canoe to travel from one place to another place, reaching different groups of tribal people where there is no bridge. She had struggled to complete her study. I do remember that, and I thank a lot. It's like an award called by a senior to take a class, trusting a junior. I'm thankful to the institution. I wish all the success, students and teachers, organizing team. Thank you so much. I hope I have done justice to the topic. Thanks a lot. If no doubt, shall I leave?
Thank you, madam. Not that we have received any queries.
Yes.
Thank you, madam. And extending my sincere gratitude to you, ma'am. Madam helped me and our team. And she has given a lot of help and support for making this program a successful one. Thank you, madam.
Okay, Alfonso, congratulations for organizing. I forgot to tell your name. Thanks a lot. Whenever I send any queries regarding this topic or our platform, she used to answer immediately and anytime. I was not oriented to the time because late working and I call Alfonso or send message. Immediately I got the reply. Thank you so much and sorry for the trouble created by me.
Thank you, madam, for your compliment. Thank you, ma'am. May I proceed, ma'am?
One question is there, involving parents in the online classes for adult students is good or bad for them? Uh, shall I answer?
Ma'am.
So it's asked by Vandana. Parents, I told the primary school teachers had a reluctance when parents attended. Here, adult students, just imagine you are taking class for your nursing students with their parents. Even they don't like it. They don't feel comfortable. We can conduct meeting, no teaching. Conduct meeting, students, parents, teachers through Zoom. It's not a problem. PTA meeting is, I heard that government colleges are conducting PTA meeting through Zoom. It was well done by their principal, Vanama Madam and team. I heard it. Yes, that can be done. But teaching, it's purely academic. So bringing sometimes parents to children relationship, we don't know whether the parent is critical, parent is supportive, parent is a what mentor. We don't know what is the parent. All the time we cannot expect all the parents should be the same. So I don't suggest parents are present when teaching adult students. Even with the children, the parent can sit away to help them if net connection goes. Otherwise, teacher student only should be there in the class. That's my opinion. Sometimes you may have disagreement, but seeing the difference, individual difference in the parent, children, and teachers, the students may not be comfortable to attend along with the parent. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Shall I leave then? No other questions, I think.
What is there, ma'am?
So some question for transforming teacher, what can we do in teaching learning method? One example I have told that we have a subject, we have a topic called uses of computer in nursing. We just tell the theory and leave the session. Even when we studied also this happened. Even we taught also this happened because that time we didn't, we were not aware of this era will come, this pandemic will come. So actually how we have to use it, we have to do and use. We should conduct class through online, do it through Zoom, Google Meet or any other platform. Show the student this is the use, one use in education. So next time I hope all the colleges will be doing transforming teachers. Teachers should accept this. This has to be done. And coming days we have to use online platform. Teacher has to do accept and well versed in technical. Transformation is a technical part actually. Then attitude also. So technically teacher has to get educated. It's I heard that a school here called Sadbhavana has conducted a lot of classes for their teachers. I had a discussion with one of the teachers of that school before preparing this class. I had a discussion with some teachers. They told a lot of classes they has taken telling how to use platform, spending a lot of money. The schools are hired resource persons and taking class. So even we are not doing that, it's okay. You can learn from the YouTube or Google how to use which platform, or you approach somebody who is good in this technology in your own institutions and they can take class. So thank you so much. Then I'm leaving. So thank you for good support, some comments that it was good. I'm grateful to you all. Because of you all this was good. Thank you for perceiving my session as a good session. Thank you, Alfonso. Shall I leave then? Bye.
Okay, ma'am. Sure. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye. Convey my regards to Grace, madam.
Okay, ma'am. Sure. First, I would like to apologize for the technical problems that occurred during this webinar. Hope we can able to rectify all these in next time. I would like to utilize this time to say my gratitude to all personalities who work behind this thing. First, I would like to utilize, I would like to express my gratitude to our management for granting all arrangements for this webinar. I would like to thank Professor Grace W., Principal, Cooperative College of Nursing, for her encouragement and timely support towards this webinar. I thank all the resource persons for spending their valuable time with us. Thank you all. I thank all faculty of Cooperative College of Nursing for their support. A special thanks to all participants to make this webinar a grand success. Now, also I would like to mention all the persons who work behind for helping the technical issues, to solving all technical issues. That is all IT personnel to help for arranging the Zoom session and also for arranging the YouTube live streaming. I extend my sincere gratitude to them also. And finally, a big salute to my co-teachers of my mental health nursing department for their tireless effort towards this program. Thank you all. And I assure you that we can able to send e-certificate within 2 weeks. Thank you for your patient cooperation. You can give your suggestions. I already sent you the feedback form and you can fill it and you can give your valuable suggestions also. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
If you can, if you want to share any feedback, you can share it now. You can unmute yourself and you can say your feedback.